We are System of a Down! And we fucking suck!
Welcome to the Thunder Rooster podcast. My name is Ron.
And I'm Paul.
And we are going to be doing a music series for today. And our subject we have chosen as System of a Down. When did you start listening to System of a Down?
It was in college.
College?
Yeah. I mean, I graduated college about 05 and, you know, they've been playing for quite some time, but probably about 03, 04.
Yeah.
Couple friends of mine were just listening to something, and I don't know, I'm kind of like some of the other people, but I kind of discovered them once they kind of got an MTV.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. This is another band in our arsenal that we love that is so unique. They can do so much, and it's honestly a travesty on what has happened at this point. I mean, it bothers me to this day. I mean, we'll get into this.
There's definitely some controversy there. We'll get into it later, but I think I started listening to System of a Down when I first started playing guitar, so around 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine who also played guitar kind of turned me on to him. But I think it was Chop Suey, their music video on MTV, that got me.
I think that was pretty close to me too, yeah.
But the file sharing days back then, you know, before it was frowned upon, I guess. Or it might have been around the time it was frowned upon, but... You know,
right when I started college is when
I was
this
a 15-year-old.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah. I basically had their Toxicity and what I now know wasn't still this album. It was some unfinished tracks from Toxicity that didn't get released, but we'll get into that later.
Yep.
Really quick, how about that episode of Office Space? Did you guys enjoy it? We had a really good time making it.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely loved it.
But yeah, if you guys want to suggest some future topics, just leave it in the comments. We'll check it out. If you're listening to this on a podcast, we have a YouTube channel where you can watch us do our podcast. And we also feature videos, pictures along with what we're talking about. And honestly, I think it honestly adds a little bit of humor to it. Maybe some more focus on what we are actually trying to describe. Just like if we forget random things, we will insert it in the video.
We've been doing a good job about that now.
No, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
But all right, who is System of a Down? We have a 4-member band. We have Serge Tankian as the lead vocals, and he also does some keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
As well as Darren Malakin, who's the vocals and guitar. Shavo Otajan,
the bassist.
And John Dalmayan for the drums.
Current drummer, yep.
Now, that being said, we are struggling with last names with this this look back on this band. So we took our stab at those names, but any other names for other band members and such that we're going to say, we're just going to dodge their last names altogether. So forgive us for that. But okay, System of a Down had 5 studio albums, 3 of them which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Top 200.
Mm-hmm.
And they were nominated for 4 Grammys. They only won 1 of them in 2006 for the Best Hard Rock Performance for BYOB.
Totally agree.
So I still remember that performance that they did on that. They played BYOB at the Grammys.
Which stands for, if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's Bring Your Own Bombs.
Bring Your Own Bombs.
And then obviously their music, for the people that are not familiar with this band, it's a lot of their music is politically driven.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's a good thing. Other times people might not like that. But this is in comparison with bands like Rage Against the Machine and Muse and things like that nature. But
well, I think they like the term more socially conscious more than they like the political thing.
Based on what they're going to say.
Yeah, of course. But
you know how these guys are.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, of course.
But yeah, they had 40+ million albums sold worldwide, and they just up and decided they were going to go on a hiatus in 2006. So we'll get into that a little later, but we'll take it back to 1992 when two of the members, Serge and Darren, actually started their first band together. They were actually in previous bands, but they met at a recording studio working on different projects. Turns out they had both gone to the same school, but because they're 8 years apart, like I think all the members of System of a Down were in the 4th grade when Serge turned 18. Which we'll go into a theory of mine that I have later on about the hiatus and whatnot.
Of course. I got some plans on that. You bet.
So their first band was called Soil, not to be confused with the Chicago-based band Soil that we all know and love today. You don't know.
I was just going to say, no, I'll be honest. No, I don't know.
I saw the look on your face. It was like,
I appreciate you letting me know. Now I know.
Okay. Probably not everybody knows that band, but they were a pretty decent band to listen to back in like the mid 2000s.
Okay.
Anyway, this is about System of a Down.
Yes.
Actually. So, Serge and Darren got together and they got a couple other guys, Dave and a guy nicknamed Dingo.
Lorano.
So Dingo was on bass, right?
No, he was on drums.
He was drums.
Okay.
Yep. So Dave was on bass.
Dave was on bass. Yep.
Dingo was on drums. So in this
Serge on keyboards and Darren on vocals and guitar.
Yeah. And they were actually hired in Chavo to be the manager of the band.
Yeah. And you know, not to push it, but I actually didn't know that.
Yeah?
I really didn't know that. It was cool. I was like, no shit, really.
Yeah.
Like you're the bass player, but yet you were the manager. Like that's cool.
Right. He was just showing up to all the rehearsals anyways, and I think they were all just friends.
Kids, it's a good thing to learn the songs of their favorite bands.
Right. Oh, and we should probably like bring this up very first and foremost. They are an Armenian-American band.
Heavy metal band.
And the school that I just mentioned that they all attended was actually an Armenian school in, I think it was either L.A. or Glendale, something like that.
Yeah, they're.
But I just want to throw that out there. So these guys kind of all came together, not on purpose by any means, but they just kind of found each other through their circle.
families, you know, left hardship to come to America for opportunity.
Yeah, like I think
all meeting together at some point.
3 of the 4 like members that we know today, I think only one of them is actually born in the U.S. Right. The others are immigrated over here with their parents.
Yep.
But so they're in the band. Chavo's doing the managerial things, and he actually ends up becoming the rhythm guitarist.
Yep.
So he joins the band, and they actually do 1 session recording and play 1 show at the Roxy, and then Dave and Dingo decide to quit.
Bye-bye.
Did you find out a reason? I didn't find out a reason.
No, there was nothing. It's just, it kind of, in my opinion, can I kind of go to the same lines of maybe they just weren't ready. Maybe it was just too much.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I know that was definitely an early like slot for them. So it's not like they'd been in a band together for years.
Right. No, it was 1 show and then boom, they're gone. I go, okay. They just didn't believe in it. They didn't think that it was going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So Chavo, Darren, and Serge, they all decided to form another band, and they named it System of a Down. System of a Down is actually not what the initial name was supposed to be. The name came from one of Darren's poems, and it was titled Victims of a Down. Yeah. But the bassist Chavo,
tell them why they wanted to change the name. In all honesty,
using his managerial experience he had from the previous band, decided he was going to change Victims to System to appeal to a larger audience. Which, that makes a lot of sense.
And what else? To put it next to who?
To put it in an alphabetical
in chronological.
alignment.
So if you go in the record store and you're like, oh, I'm looking to see what's here, and there's System of a Down, where do they want to be positioned? Why did they put System? Because they love Slayer.
Do we need to remind kids what a record store is?
Ron, for some of us old folks,
we're not that bad yet.
Some of us old folks here, Ron, I got to tell them how it was. We had record stores in the 2000s,
right?
Well, right at the end, but yeah, they wanted to be connected to Slayer.
Yeah, right next to him. That was a huge influence in them.
No, I mean, no, it's
Obviously.
crazy, but I can't believe that was your thinking to make your name of your band.
No, why not?
Why the hell not? It worked. They did something right, of course.
So in this transition in the new band, Chavo ended up transitioning over to bass and recruited a guy named Andy K. Like I said, I'm not going to try these last names. To put on the drums. He was actually an old former drummer of Darren with one of his early bands called Snowblind. In 1995, from 95 to 97, the band released 3 demo tapes. They were actually on cassette tapes, and they were just feeding them out to anybody and everybody. And this is around the first time, street teams actually started really coming out in force.
Of course, yeah.
And, they were just going to town, trying to get these tapes any way they can. So
I love the names on them. Just demo tape 1.
Right. Demo
tape 2. 1995 demo. I'm like, that's pretty original, but hey.
So in mid 1997, Andy ended up leaving the band because he injured his hand.
Do you know how he injured his hand?
I do not.
You want to hear some funny shit?
Sure. I'm sure the audience would too.
I don't know if it's really that funny, but it's like, no, he was actually, he was...
Was he masturbating in the shower and fell over?
I don't know. Not where I was going with that, but
I don't know why, but back when I grew up in Oklahoma, and like anytime you did something to your wrist, your hand, your arm, everybody asked that. Oh, did you fall over in the shower when you were masturbating?
No, he actually hurt himself in a kung fu exercise. He was doing Jeet Kune Do, but hey, maybe.
Well, at least that's a solid way to hurt your own.
I'm like, dude, whatever. But yeah, he hurt himself doing karate.
It's not like I was trying to hammer up this board and I missed. Yeah,
but yeah, that's
so
great excuse. Whatever.
They end up recruiting John DeMayan. I didn't really have a rhyme or reason for that. I guess he just was a good drummer.
Yeah,
they picked
didn't
up.
say much about that.
They start playing some pretty notable venues around this time. We got the Whiskey A Go Go, the Viper Room, and actually at the Viper Room, we had one particular person come to their show there.
The freaking mecca of all guys.
Rick Rubin. He shows up, and from an interview that I saw of him, he was talking about how this band just had him in tears laughing while he was watching them play. It was the most unique thing he'd actually heard at the time, and it became his favorite band. So it's not like he actually plucked him right then and there. He just, basically gave him his contact information and said he was interested and to keep in touch.
How about the fact that when he says favorite band, this guy is, if you guys aren't familiar with Rick Rubin, he is one of the most popular music producers in the world. Covered guys such as Linkin Park, Run DMC, Public Enemy, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, Slipknot. Yes. Yeah. So this guy has definitely got his pull and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to take a real quick break and we'll be right back. All right, here we go. Edit time. All right, we're back. So, like we were saying, Rick Rubin did not initially just pick them right up.
No.
The band actually went from there, and they decided to record a final demo tape. So it's demo tape 4. For those who are not keeping along.
1, 2, 3.
But they did it
4.
specifically for record labels, kind of like how we talked about with Slipknot. They went out and recorded something specifically to try and get signed.
Sure. Send it out to all the labels, of course.
So right after they do this, Rick Rubin signs them to American Columbia, and they start recording their debut album.
Atlantic Columbia. Sorry.
Is it?
It's an American.
I thought it was his label, American.
That was Atlantic.
It was a subsidiary of Columbia, I think. Regardless, we mentioned both, so if we get it, one of us is wrong, let us know in the comments, or we'll all fact check it in the editing. So in '98, they released their self-titled album, and they go to town recording songs. And so with their self-titled album, I almost got to help myself there. So they record their album.
Yeah.
Their most notable singles for their self-titled album are Sugar and Spiders. They had music videos for both.
Yep.
And Sugar and Spiders were a radio favorite at the time for them.
Sugar.
So they had frequent airplay on MTV. For those of you who don't know what MTV really used to be,
Music television.
Used to play music videos a lot.
Not Jersey Shore reality shows.
I don't even know if they do that anymore.
I don't either.
That's how long it's been since I've actually watched MTV.
Yeah.
But during this time they also started touring. So they opened for Slipknot, or not Slipknot, Slayer, and also Metallica. And in doing this, they went to, they did an American tour as well as like Canada, and I think some Mexico dates.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But right after that, they end up sliding into headlining the second stage of Ozfest. Did they headline? I don't know.
That I don't know. Then
fact check right here.
But how about the fact that they go from small little venue to Rick Rubin to their lives are changed?
Oh yeah. Well, they had a huge underground following.
Yeah, of course.
In LA, and there was even a local radio station that basically said that they'll never make it on radio. This band doesn't.
And what happened when they did? It wouldn't get off the radio.
Right. They couldn't keep it
all the time. All the time.
The guy was like, "I'll never let this be on the radio." And like, well
you're
I
wrong,
guess
dude.
he's probably fired.
Yeah. Well, he's just wrong. You suck. You're wrong.
But yeah. So they ended up hitting Ozfest up, and then 2001 comes around. We have Toxicity. The band recorded 32 songs in this recording session, and holy crap. I think there's only like 11 songs that actually made it to Toxicity. Mm-hmm. But they end up holding a concert in LA as like or in Hollywood, I should say, as a thank you to the fans, because they wanted to do like an album release and let the band hear the whole album.
There's 14 tracks. I'm sorry.
14. It's all good. Going. We're going.
No, I'm just playing. Yeah.
But so they set it up in this like parking lot, and they expect there's going to be like 3,500 people there, so that's kind of what they're aiming for.
Sure.
Well, word gets out, it's a free concert, and 7,000 to 10,000 people show up.
Yep. Not what they expected.
The police and the security guys are freaking the fuck out.
Shut it down.
And so that's what they do. They basically
shut it down.
They let all the fans just collect there for over an hour.
Mm-hmm. Don't tell them nothing.
Yeah, they didn't say a word. The only reason why they knew that the band wasn't playing is because they removed the System of a Down banner down and started taking apart the equipment.
And that's when hell broke loose.
A full-on riot ensued.
That's not good.
People were hurt, people were arrested, and about $30,000 worth of equipment of the band's was destroyed.
The equipment had to suffer through all this.
Oh.
Did you watch? I watched the video on it. Holy shit.
Yeah. We'll definitely add that in here.
It's crazy.
Right here.
Right there.
Or maybe right here. I don't know.
Just put it somewhere.
So that was on September 3rd, 2001. And sure enough, 9/11 happened just 7 days later. 8 days later. Yeah, 7 days later. Am I doing the math right?
No, 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
8. 3 plus 8, Ron.
No, I see the math there. I'm just saying, you got the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Yeah, fuck me.
Have another.
I had a little sleep.
Fair enough.
I'm smart.
I know, I'm just kidding. We're just kidding, dude. We're having a ball. Okay. No, you're right. But yeah.
So even with 9/11, the band still managed to debut at #1 in Canada and America, despite the terrorist attacks. And the album actually ended up going 3 times platinum. But
unbelievable.
There was a little bit of issue and some controversy with their music at the time because, you got people not knowing what Armenia is, and they're just assuming that just like, oh, they're Middle Eastern, so they're kind of tied into that whole thing. They're a very political band. So people looking into things that probably aren't there, but their song Chop Suey, which was a big hit at the time, ends up getting pulled off the air, mainly for the lyrics. One, I thought, was the reason, which it technically wasn't, but When Angels Deserve to Die, I just thought that was a bad timing kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it actually was right before that section is the self-righteous suicide part, which ended up getting them pulled off the air.
Well, Clear Channel didn't like that.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, even though it got pulled off of radio and stuff, it was still, I mean, constant rotation on MTV for Toxicity, and then that following year, Aerials was
just,
on
it
there.
blew up. Oh, my God, how many times a day. It's a beautiful song, but it was just, Toxicity and Aerials, just, bam, it was everywhere.
Yeah. We're going to say this now. I don't think System of a Down has any filler songs. I think that they're either such an original band that everything is just a nice little work of art for their listeners to enjoy, or I don't know what the alternative is.
I mean, I truly feel like, from their whole catalog, and this just is my opinion, is that every song of theirs and sounds like something different. I can't link something together because you'll hear bands and it's like they have their formula, they have their sound, and some of the songs sound the same, even though they want to agree or not. But I literally can't find something that sounds the same unless it's like something that's almost like a continuation, because you had like the intro to Soldier Side and then the outro to it. You had a lot of the same melody that was involved, but everything else sounds like it's just, here's a song, here's a song, here's a song.
Well, the thing with that too is like they have all kinds of different inspirations for their songs, but it also helps that the last 4 of their albums, those are 2 different recording sessions.
Of course.
They recorded what was an accident. They didn't mean to put out Still This Album, which we're about to get into talking to. But they recorded, like I said, 32 songs for that. And there was only 14 tracks on Toxicity. So you have the remaining songs for that. But as well as Hypnotized and Mesmerized, that was all one recording session. Because it was supposed to be a double album.
Split over 6 months, yeah.
So...
Genius move, by the way.
Yeah.
To do 2-part. But,
exactly. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure it was their genius that made that happen. I think it might have been a record label decision.
Well, if they agreed upon it, then...
Yeah, they did agree upon it.
Good deal.
But 2002, we get into Still This Album. And the reason why I say that it was kind of an accident, per se, was it was during, like we said, the Napster days, the Kazaa, the LimeWire type stuff, illegal download, file sharing.
Just coming to the masses.
And I don't care who you are, if you were around that age, teen, whatever, younger, pretty sure adults would probably do it too. But, I mean, you're like, hey, you can get these free music just by clicking a button and waiting a little while. Well, I think it was like 5-10 minutes to download where I was
depending on how fast your connection was.
Yeah, I was out in the country, so it took forever. But
we were downloading songs within seconds of college. Our freaking router, everything was super fast. But
yeah, so there were leaked songs that were unfinished from the Toxicity sessions, and they were being file shared and labeled as Toxicity 2. The band immediately got ahead of that and be like, hey, this is unfinished material. We wouldn't put out anything less quality like that, So to kind of, fire back at the whole file sharing of that, they end up releasing finished stuff from that is Still This Album. So they kind of go with the whole thing where the CD cover is actually a looks like a burnable CD.
Put that up there because that is just,
and felt pin written on there, System of a Down, steal this album, and it was a kind of a play on a book that was made by Abby, can't remember her last name, but it was Still This Book.
Yep.
So
I thought it was funny. I thought it was their way of kind of getting back at what had happened.
Yeah, it was just like a big middle finger.
Yeah, I remember reading an article, and I'm sitting there on a weekend with my roommate, and I'm looking over, and I go, dude, this is actually their next album coming out. He goes, dude, it looks like a burnable CD. And I'm like, yeah, it does. I go, because they're giving you the FU for the people that stole their music.
Right. Sorry, System of a Down, if you see this, I did
it. I'm not gonna lie either. I mean, I have hundreds of CDs, but at that time I had a computer filled with stuff.
I will say, before we had all the streaming stuff now, I have bought System of a Down's albums at least 3 or 4 times from losing them or them getting destroyed somehow. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
That was the thing that sucked about CDs. If you lost it or somebody borrowed it and never returned it,
of course,
you had to buy it again.
Yeah.
It's not like you could say, "Hell, here's proof of purchase. Give me another one."
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, still this album. There's so many freaking good songs on this album. I'm like, how was this not like? How is this the bad ones from from Toxicity? You know what I mean?
I don't agree.
I was just completely mesmerized by that. Ha ha ha.
Nah.
But some notable songs from that, at least 2 I can give an example, was Intervision and Boom, which Boom they did a music video for, I believe. This is very political time around, like, the Afghan war, the war in Afghanistan was really taken up around this time, and
04, 05, yeah.
They have some deep roots from where they used to live, where they immigrated from, where they lived in practically war zones. So they have a lot to say about that stuff, and I don't blame them. But we go on to 2004 when they start recording Mesmerized and Hypnotized. Something I didn't know about that was the artwork for the albums were Darren's father's art. I did not know that.
I didn't until after I read it, but yeah, I would have.
Gotcha.
I never really. That's just kind of sad. For me, I never really paid attention to the artwork.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad. Normally, I look into those things. With them, I didn't care.
Yeah,
I just wanted the music.
My thing of it was, I was a nerd. I wanted to see who produced it, who's the backing people of this. So you get on there, you see all their label people. Right. It's just a nerd.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That and finding out like what they endorsed and whatnot, because I wasn't always getting the Guitar World magazines and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, they recorded this double album, and they released it 6 months apart, like we'd mentioned. And Mesmerized was released on May 17th of 2005, and it went #1 worldwide. Like we mentioned, BYOB ends up getting a Grammy nomination and win for Best Hard Rock Performance.
So deserving.
Hypnotized ended up coming out on November 22nd, going #1 in the U.S. again, and joining the ranks of bands like the Beatles.
That was what you're gonna say. Yeah,
Tupac,
that was really cool. Yeah,
as well as DMX, to be a group of artists
Beatles.
that had 2 #1 albums in the same year.
Yeah, it's a very small class of artists.
Right. I mean, you see how much goes into making one album, and for that to go #1, but having 2 at the same time, it's a big feat. Like I said, DMX, Tupac, I didn't know they were in that good. I knew the Beatles were, but
DMX shares the same birthday with me. But he's my dog. I love DMX. I got every album. Just had to throw that in there. But
X gonna
get it to you. Love that guy. Oh man, he can spit raps. Love him.
But something that was very surprising for us on this, I knew this beforehand, but Darren actually kind of took over control creatively on Mesmerized and Hypnotized. If you noticed on the albums, he does a majority of the singing and kind of puts Serge in the backing vocals type thing situation. This causes some friction in the band that we'll get into, and we're trying to keep this shorter. We're trying not to make this a part 2, so that's why we're kind of skipping stuff. So if we don't mention something, leave it in the comments so other people can read it.
Yeah.
And, who knows? Maybe we'll circle back and do another one on this someday, but we're not planning on it right now.
No.
So in May of 2006, the band announces hiatus. They're going to basically pause. They're not breaking up, but after they finish their Ozfest tour that year, they're going to take time off. No, set amount of time, although their bassist Shavo was 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. It'll be 3 years. But, right after this happens, Darren starts Scars on Broadway. Shavo started working with, John Dalmayan also started.
Scars on Broadway with Darren. Yeah.
And then Shavo ends up just working on little things here and there, and he started doing something with was it RZA from the Wu-Tang? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
But we're gonna put a little bookmark there. We need to take a break. I'm gonna address this because I don't know if it's been talked about yet or not. I'm sure somebody would mention it. But the reason why we take breaks is because the cameras we have only record up to 20 minutes, and then it's okay, we don't know what time we're gonna shut off, but we're gonna shut off. So that's why we have to take breaks. So just bear with us and tell people about us so we can start trying to get something going with this so we can do something about our cameras. But we'll be right back. All right, we are back. So the band goes on their hiatus. A lot of rumors fly around a lot. Every band member's doing their own thing at this point, and they actually end up coming back in 2010 to do a string of festival dates. They went on a little tour. Most of them will be playing Rock am Ring, just a bunch of
That's a sweet
the
festival.
UK festival circuit. But as you'll get into in a second, each band member kind of has their own thing with it. They're all still perfectly fine friends. They still hang out with each other. They're still, they're family basically. So, and even I just found out today that, Serge and John are actually brother-in-laws now. So
that's so cool though. When I read it, I'm like, well, then maybe they don't fight at family dinners anymore.
Right.
But that's the interesting thing. After all of this, I mean, they are still all friends.
Mm-hmm.
They still hang out. They still do things together. But when it comes to this band, it's just the red flags all come up.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame.
Yeah, there started rumors flying around 2015, 2016 that they were going to start working on another album, and I believe they did try and start working on one.
I was so excited when I heard that.
Yeah, I was.
And then my dreams just crashed.
Yeah. Basically, the band started coming out, I think, around 2018 with basically kind of outing people on why stuff wasn't flying. I mean, it began with, I think, the drummer started saying stuff, and then, Shavo chimed in, Darren chimed in, and Serge decided he was going to, address it himself as well. So you have the quote there?
Yeah, I can add a couple things, sure.
We're going to go ahead and read Serge's response to all the rumors.
So there's a couple things, but I mean, at least what I want to point out. But before I go into that, it's and I've talked to you many times about this, especially with this band. I love them a lot, but they're jerks. I mean, in my opinion, I've watched several interviews in the past. One of the first ones I saw was off of a program. There used to be a cable channel, might be available, called Much Music, but they did a lot of different musical spotlights for about different bands and stuff, and they had they had Uranium. They had this program called Uranium, and there was this woman named Julia who hosted it, and she got a big following because she talked to a lot of different underground bands.
And let's not avoid the elephant in the room here with that one. I mean, she was a hot girl, she was into metal, It's
But
a
she
little
had-
different now, but
I
I
know.
mean, back then
She had a huge following. I mean, it was such a cult following for her as far as what she brought. But just as a side piece with that is just like she had an interview with Darren and Serge, and it was just like these guys just come off like jerks. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, yeah, you're trying to be cutesy, you're trying to be funny, but that's how the perception was at times. I'm sure they were better at other moments, but that one I was watching, like, she's just trying to do her job, and these guys are just
That was definitely the public perception of it. I don't know if it was actually staged or not.
right.
So
That's the only thing with it. But
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, so there was all different things that we heard. He puts out a statement, and I guess I can understand to his point and to everyone's point.
Right.
First off, you need to have accountability. You need to have a togetherness. So he puts a little information out. He goes, as far as artistically speaking, he feels he continues to do the same thing with the same people over time, and it becomes redundant even for a dynamic outfit like System of a Down.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that. By the time he said he feels that he needed a little time to do his own work, he wasn't discouraged to restarting the process with the band. When they first started out, the creative input and the financial revenue splits were close to equal with the band. Well, apparently that changed over time.
Yeah.
Supposedly based on what Serge was saying.
Well, like I was saying with the mesmerized, hypnotized thing,
Yes.
Darren kind of took over.
And the thing is too, and I had read just a little side note, but he was really, really into John Lennon. Like he found him to be a major inspiration. A lot of the songwriting, I can attest. Like I just love the fact that was an inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
But they were basically, when Mesmerized and Hypnotized comes out, Serge just felt like they were at polar opposites with what was going on. He felt that Darren was controlling creative processing and publishing and only doing press. But he comes out and he says that he was thinking of leaving the band before Mesmerized and Hypnotized came out, which, as I'm reading this, I'm shocked because those albums are great. But
Right.
Anyway, he wanted to leave them for the reasons he personally didn't feel as close to the music on the records. Now, I can understand that. If you don't feel fully invested in something, then you're gonna see that.
And that's kind of hard to hear.
That is hard to hear
like
because
you
you
were
think
saying.
he's been doing this for 10 plus years, and it's like, wow, like you got this following, your band is so unique. It's such a positive message here and there, but like everyone loves this band.
Yeah.
In the rock scene.
I mean, aside from that too, is
Yeah.
like on Mesmerized and Hypnotized, like he's fully in it
Yeah.
when you hear. I mean, I know
Of course.
that Darren has a majority of the vocalist lead.
He takes
parts,
lead
but
on several tracks, but they're singing together. They harmonize together, and it's incredible.
It
but
sounded like a well done partnership
Yeah.
on the songs for sure.
what we thought.
Yeah,
Sure.
what we thought.
That's why he felt like he couldn't get close on the records. These were songs he wanted to bring. He said there were songs he wanted to bring in, but he was hampered by unkept promises, coupled by his own passivity at the time. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess I could see to that extent. So then he said, as time goes by, we all try to do our own thing. Serge's solo career gave him confidence as a songwriter and later composed to revisit System of a Down from the position of strength, at first just to tour and enjoy each other's company, which we did and still continue to do.
Right.
He said, I knew that they wanted to make a record, but given the past, he was hesitant. At times, there would be emotional outbursts, but one band member or another mostly blaming me for the band's inactivity. So right then and there, everyone's not on the same page,
Right.
and things are just probably not going to go well. He says after a long time thinking and processing, about 2 years ago, he said he went to the guys with a preposition with a way to keep the band moving forward. Now, this is what I can agree with. I feel like, and it's not always the case, and you see this, that's why there's band breakups, but if anyone could get together and kind of keep a collective idea like, hey, this is what I bring to the table, this is what you bring to the table, this is how we want to make this work. And it's not always the case. Because he says here, he wanted to rectify the past and establish a new way. So he says here's what I'm thinking of doing. He said he had released 5 of his own records and felt that he was a better songwriter at this point, and Darren was getting better as his own lyricist in his own right mind. But he said, let's all bring 6 songs to the table and work on them from there.
Right.
And then if that's the case, then it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's keep an equal partnership, keep the financing together so they can reflect that. But as far as the songs, they didn't want to exist any other ideas. They want to develop new concepts, but then, of course, what ends up happening is that Serge is just not. He's just still not with it.
Right.
He feels he's like, at this point, I'm drawing a line in the sand because I don't know that I could ever be happy going back to what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
We can't see eye to eye on these points, and we just decided to put aside the idea of recording an album altogether. And of course, he's like, my only regret at this point is just unable to give you, the fans, another album.
Right.
So I guess I could see it. I mean, his voice is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could totally, and if anyone hasn't heard Serge's solo music, you can attest that he goes all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
With what he does.
It's got a very wide range on that.
So maybe that was the reason why he just, I still don't understand that was what was bothering him all that time.
But I do respect the man for spearheading it like that.
Of course.
Getting it out in the open.
Yeah, it takes a strong person to actually go out there and say what they're saying instead of just keeping it and hiding it. And
right. To an extent, it's like a respect thing for the fans. I mean, everybody's fighting at just hand over fist trying to get this next album.
Well,
out.
and that's how, like, the same theory. People were like, when's Guns N' Roses come out with another album? It's like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And it's
I
like,
don't care.
I know you don't care. I'm just, God, I got to get you in that catalog, man. I got to get you in Guns N' Roses. But anyway, so it's the same thing. And it's like, it's kind of how they felt with that too.
Right. But yeah,
people are praying for a new album every year.
I mean, basically, when they came together to try and do another album, I mean, most of the material and stuff that was being kind of tossed around, Darren ended up using it with Darren Malakian in Scars on Broadway. And
I'm sorry, you listen to any of his albums, it sounds just like System of a Down.
I know, and it's the best thing for the fans right now because that's what they got.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not System of a Down,
Nope.
but I mean, he's a good songwriter. He's not the best guitarist. He doesn't
but his guitar playing
crazy ass riffs or anything like
so
that.
Cool.
It is
so cool what he comes up with.
I mean, he doesn't practice or anything, and honestly, he doesn't play in front of people that much.
No.
He just, he picks it up when he feels like it, and he writes what needs to be wrote. And I can attest to that too, because I'm not a showman. I don't show off.
No,
I enjoy. I don't even consider myself that great of a guitarist.
Neither do I.
I just love songwriting.
Yeah.
So I completely get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of stuff with Serge, that age difference between them, I think that's kind of caught up.
I think we have to address that. That's true.
Because when they do come back and they're doing their festivals, I mean, I'll show it on a clip before we go into our pecking order, but, he looks like it's just a fun thing he's revisiting from his youth, He's not fully into it like the Serge we knew from the 2000s when this band was really ticking up. I mean, he's just kind of smiling at it and he's not even going full ham on his vocal parts and stuff like that.
Some of these songs are not meant for you to be smiling on. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly.
It's like, hey, let's talk about why the president sends the kids in to go to war and they die. And you can't smile about that kind of stuff.
I don't know if he's smiling during that.
I didn't say that. I just said, yeah.
But going into his, his solo stuff, he's done composing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he's kind of got himself to a higher tier of thinking. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he come a little bougie. I don't know.
Anything's possible. That's true.
But like I was saying, it's like maybe he sees System of a Down as something he might even be a little embarrassed by from doing when in his younger
mind,
days,
I guess.
But yeah,
I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll gonna take another quick little break, and we'll be back with our pecking order. Stay tuned. All right, we are back and we are ready for our pecking order.
I like that.
Let's get ready to rumble.
We're gonna have to blink that out. We're gonna have to blink that out, dude.
Are we?
Yeah, he'll fucking sue us.
All right.
Better start it back over. Oh no, he'll fucking sue us.
All right, let's rewind that. We'll have two claps. That's fine. All right, we are going into our pecking order, and we are, for those who don't know, we are going to list our 5 favorite songs from this band or artist. And I'm not gonna lie, this was
I'm gonna agree with
difficult.
you. I'm gonna agree with you before we even prep for the show. you're like, what do you got? And I'm like, what do you got? And we literally were like, oh, we got a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
This is going to be hard.
Yeah.
This is hard for me because, we know this. Me and him know this. Metallica's my favorite band. I can debate on that all day.
Mm-hmm.
But with them, with System of a Down, it was just like, this is really tough. Yeah. This is the toughest one for me to do.
I just want to say sorry for the camera angle on this one. I had a simple jack moment, and one of our batteries was dying on the camera, and I went to go plug in the spare battery
and charger. You got to put it in the charger.
Yeah,
you can't leave it kind of hanging there.
You never go full,
And that's all right. We love you anyway. It's no big deal.
But all right, we're going to list our top 5 songs, and this is going to be hard because, like I was saying earlier, this band doesn't make filler songs.
No.
And I didn't have this problem with Slipknot. I didn't have this problem with Metallica.
I don't have this problem with any band, but truly, I kind of feel like this is my
This is the first time when I was like, what's your top favorite songs from this band? It's like, oh.
Yeah.
How dare you ask me to pick 5?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's really a pain in the ass, but we'll get into it. Let's have you start this time. I started last time.
All right, number 5 is Sugar.
Ooh, Sugar.
I like Sugar because it was one of the first songs I heard, but the walking bass line and just when he puts it out, I laugh, but it's a hell of a song.
And it's another affirmation of how awesome Darren is on the guitar. It's simple as shit.
Yeah.
But
wow.
That's the thing about songwriting. It's what you bring to the song to make it awesome instead of just being like, I'm going to shove all my knowledge into one song or my technique. My number 5 is Aerials off of Toxicity. I don't even think I need to give an explanation for having this on my list because it is an amazing song. To this day, anytime I pick up an acoustic guitar, I will play that. No questions asked. That's
you didn't play that for me. Frig.
I did too.
Aerials.
I played it on your Gibson or your Explorer when we were at your house, and you broke your acoustic strings, the strings you hadn't changed in 10 years.
I hadn't broke a string in years, and I got to break one for you. All right, that's funny.
I specifically remember playing that song.
Shut up, Ron. Shut up. Just had old man syndrome. My bad. 4.
It's your turn.
Oh, yeah. Number 4. Prison Song.
Prison Song.
Prison Song was absolutely sick for me. I mean, my roommate, I think this was like the first song I heard my roommate play in our apartment. And I just heard that dum, 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 dum,
They're trying to build a prison.
And then after that, and then it just goes right in the riff. I'm like, let's just smash stuff.
Right. It's definitely one of those amped up songs.
Oh, God. Yes. It's amazing.
Fist pumping.
Yeah. But it also sends a message. I mean, it's like basically the percentage of incarcerations was just like crazy unheard of. So they were like, yeah, we're going to talk about how the police were.
Yeah, we're talking about this being a political band. And I mean, it's just like listening to some stand-up comedians. They're just shoving truth in your face and making it funny in the process. So it's easy to digest. But I mean, that song, listen to it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can go into even nowadays with the political climate. There's still remnants of that time period when they were, trying to get as many people into these privately owned prisons. Anyways, we're talking about top 5. Let's go into that.
Sorry.
Number 4 is IEAIAIO. Awesome name for a song, first off. But it's just one of those chanting songs. It's so easy, so catchy, and it just sticks in your mind. And I heard it one time, and it just kind of latched on to me, and hasn't let go.
It's very entertaining.
That was actually one of the easier ones to put on the list.
For you?
I can't leave that one out.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, you got number 3.
I have Chop Suey.
Chop Suey.
And of course, Chop Suey is one of the very first songs that I did hear.
Mm-hmm.
Why I like it so much is when the chorus of this song comes in, I marvel. Because I hear the guitar, like, and then it's like the voices, it's like the harmony, it's like the keyboard. I mean, it's just like, and then it just, right after the chorus, it just goes right back in your face.
Right.
Such a cool song.
They get done caressing your cheek a little bit and then slap the shit out.
Right at you.
Rat crust or chops.
Love it.
Man, I shouldn't have said that. I had something in mind to comment on Chop Suey, and I completely forgot it.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's my fault. But yeah, my number 3 is Old School Hollywood off of Mesmerized.
Old school Hollywood baseball.
Jack Girardi.
I love the voice for it. The
Right.
thing.
Darren is kind of a mousy little dude, and hearing him sing and his voice crack, it's acceptable because you're like, yeah, that guy's his voice is gonna crack if he sings like that.
It's like Tony Danza cuts a line.
Right. It's awesome. It's like one of those things of somebody who's getting cast in a role that they're kind of already that person, so it's easily filled. So I kind of feel that way with him singing.
Oh yeah. I love that song itself,
Yeah.
but I remember listening for several times like, what the fuck am I listening to? Old school what? Watch Hollywood. I go, okay, I guess so.
That's kind of the trip you kind of go down with System of a Down sometimes.
Some of it.
You hear a song, you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, this isn't sorry, the side note, but I'm gonna at least tell our listeners. I mean, there's a track on here. Oh, sorry. And it's called "This Cocaine Makes Me Feel Like I'm in the Song."
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that.
I never actually found out what the whole title of that song was because every time I looked at it, it was like, "This cocaine makes me," and that was it.
That's what I'm just saying. Is
I saw the little dot.
They
dot,
got
dot.
such ironic titles for their catalog tracks. I mean, but
Right.
yeah, Old School Hollywood's awesome.
All right. What's
Love
your
it.
number 2?
Kind of on the lines of where we're going than the Hypnotize Mesmerize route, but there's a song called Radio Video, and it's a strange song. It really is. I mean, as far as just musically, but I tend to like the breakdown in the chorus. It just kind of goes into like this different world, and then there's singing, and I don't know. It's probably a bad example of how I'm interpreting it, but I like this song a lot. The chorus is just like, "Hey, look, Mom, I'm on the radio with Danny and Lisa." It's like, who's Danny and Lisa? But the chorus, the roundup, they start singing, then it builds with the guitars, and almost, I don't know, it's just really cool.
I love that riff when they open it up.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Mom, look at me rocking now.
Yeah.
What you got for 2?
Number 2, I have Inner Vision, which I thought was going to be my number 1, but I'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
But it's off of Still This album.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first song I heard from System of a Down that I really fell in love with. I love the way that they structured the song together. And let's be honest, most of the songs are the traditional, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, the way, I guess it was just a certain notes and riffs and stuff that they put together kind of, I don't know, I fell in love with it. So
That's awesome.
That's my explanation for
We
it.
could literally just say everyone's awesome. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not going to. All right. Number 1. And for me, this is no surprise. Obviously, it might be to you or not, but it was BYOB, Bring Your Own Bombs. Song won a Grammy, people. I remember as this song came out, I was still, I was in college and I was sitting through a history class as the war was just starting to break out. And how do I put it? So the one thing that obviously stuck with me a lot is there's a message, and it's repeated over and over and over in the song. It says, "Why do the presidents not fight the war? Why do they send the poor?" And it gets you thinking. It's like, okay, we have different points in our lives where we might believe in one political party and that might change or whatever. But at that time, for me in my life, I'm like, well, why are we sending in broke kids, men and women, to fight these wars that I don't think are even worth fighting? And that's how they viewed it. I mean, there was a lot of knock against Bush. I mean, they did not like President Bush at all, and they made it very known in a lot of these songs. But for this one, it's like they took almost like a satiric approach. It's like, hey, let's bring your own bombs to the party. We're all here. Let's go.
Yeah.
But in theory of that, it's like wars are solving nothing, and these men and women are fighting for their lives. Wow. The higher ups just sit there at the tablecloth dinner just saying, we'll send another 1,000 troops in if they lose their lives, no big deal. They're setting an agenda.
I'm totally in support of, anybody who's in the military. Like most of my family was in the military. And it really bums me out when we have a situation like that where a lot of people are scratching their heads, including the people who are actually in the service at the time.
Right.
What are we doing? You know, I'm not going to get into that, obviously.
And we try not to. Our show is trying not to go that way.
Right.
We don't want to deter anything. It's just, this is just our opinions, but it's like as I was reading and seeing what was out there and then listening to the song countless times over and over and over, it's like it made me think. I'm like, yeah, why do we send the poor in there? Why are their lives not as important as people who are rich?
Right. That makes sense.
Awesome song.
I
listen to it almost every day.
My number one's kind of a surprise, and it kind of surprised me too, because I was doing a little refresher because I didn't want to leave out anything that I really loved, and I'm glad I did because I came across this song. But it's Roulette off of Still This album.
I was surprised that you picked that. Yes,
I was too, but it's such a beautiful song. I mean, it's mostly just an acoustic song. I'm sure I'll have some bit of it playing very quietly in the background here, but I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that kind of touches your heartstrings a little bit. So I don't really have any more explanation. I mean, these songs are really simple. They're really catchy, and you don't really need a whole lot of reason to love them.
They're not long either.
No, they're only most of their songs are like 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, 3.5, and it's like you're in, you're out.
I was like, I saw like the total time for one of the albums just by glancing at it by accident, and I saw it was like 36 minutes long. I was like, really?
And again, sometimes more is less,
Right. But yeah, I guess I have to give some honorable mentions.
Yeah, me too. I'm just where we debated. We're like, shit, we got a bunch of honorables.
I'm just gonna throw all mine out there.
Yeah.
I have 5 honorable mentions. Prison Song we touched on.
Yep.
Jet Pilot. I thought that was such a hardcore song. Cigarro is actually
that's one of your favorites.
Yeah. My cock is much bigger than yours.
That's pretty good.
But it's a kind of a satire cake at, I think, Dick Cheney. So but my next one was Violent Pornography.
Yeah.
Off of
that's cool.
Mesmerized.
Yeah.
Catchiness out the ass. I mean, I mince my words there a little bit. And my last honorable mention is Lost in Hollywood. I had Old School Hollywood on there, and this follows that track. And man, oh man,
that's so cool. Just their singing and that. It's just like, oh my god, the range Surge goes to on there.
Yeah,
and then even when I love their harmonies.
Exactly, it gives you the chills listening to them sometimes. Their voices match up so well. Because
Surge can probably hit opera level, I would probably think to some degree. Sure. He can go here, he can get down here, and Darren is just like, he's got that good baritone going for him. But yeah, that's love that. Yep. Old School Hollywood is, again, I could have put this on the list because I listen to that song just as much as all the other ones. Love that. Toxicity, I know it's kind of surprised, but I could have put it on there. ATWA, I really like that because it's just such a slow song that just bridges out like towards the end.
Yeah,
which is cool. Sweet Pea.
That was your number 5.
No, not Sweet Pea. No.
Oh no, your Sugar was your number
Sweet
5.
Pea. And then the last one I had on here was Bounce.
Pogo.
But partially because when I watched Secret Life of Pets and they were playing that, I lost my shit. I lost my shit. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, you know what? One of these days, I want to set up a camera because I want to look at my 2 dogs and see what happens. What they do all day. I'm like, maybe I should just play that song and see what happens.
I just can't wait for my son to watch that. Love that show and see the music and stuff. And then when he gets older, tell him what the song's really about.
It's like, no. They bounce. And the dogs are It's so funny.
I mean, there's countless others.
That's what I'm saying. We could
too. Like, I know, what was it? Ego something. I forgot the name of it exactly. It was Ego Brain. But that was another favorite of mine. You have Forest, Science off Toxicity. There's so many freaking good songs on Toxicity. Only one made my top 5, but I'm weird. I don't kind of go along with everything everybody else does.
No, you do your own thing.
I kind of feel weird sometimes though, because you would think Toxicity or Top Suey would be on there with everything, but
sometimes it doesn't. Maybe to you, sometimes it's like, okay, well, yeah, these are the popular songs.
yeah, I'm not saying they're bad songs, but the other songs that didn't quite make it to the radio, I think, are better
just
songs.
equally as good. It's just the content wasn't. They're like, we can't tell you talking about cocks reaching the floor. It's just not going to happen.
Psycho.
I was actually just looking right now to think that. Yeah.
Psycho groupie.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah. If you can't tell, I mean, I definitely have this love-hate relationship with this band. I love their music, and
I'm just pissed because truly they act like a bunch of douches at times like this.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean,
that's just my opinion. I'm like, we just want the music, but I understand after reading that. It's like it's like you need a team. Like you got to have all moving parts. If the parts are not working together, they don't work.
I almost kind of think, I wonder if Mudvayne's in a similar situation of why they didn't get back together. I really wonder that.
It's very possible. It's very possible why a lot of acts don't.
Yeah.
There's
Really
that
sad.
riff. They can't get it together.
I hate when bands can't get their shit together and keep it going, but at the same time, whatever. There's other bands out there.
We want this
we have the piece that we can love and cherish forever. So I don't know.
We want the new stuff.
We do. But
we need
if you didn't know about Darren Malikan and Scars on Broadway,
check it out.
That's basically System of a
freaking
Down.
great.
So I can hold you over till they decide to get together and make some music.
Like, what would be a better time to start writing now?
I think now would have been any time for them to get together. And,
I truly feel like the artists that are putting things out now are putting better music out now than they have.
I'm just saying, this
because of
band
what's
could have
going on.
not happened very easily because Darren and John got into a little fight. John busted Darren's lip open, and Darren picked up a mic stand and bashed him over the head with it. At that point, you think, all right, this band's done. They're not coming away from this.
That's love, bro.
They end up going to the emergency together and get stitched up and bandaged up together next to each other,
right,
and they're
bro?
laughing about it.
Yeah, you all right, bro? Yeah, cool.
Right.
Yeah, that was a pretty good shot.
So come on, if they can do that,
They can put an album together.
they can get their differences aside and get this going. So leave us a comment letting us know what you think about the situation. We want to be respectful to the band because, like I said, we love them as artists. We think they're doing great things outside of their music with
of course.
bringing to light of what happened to the Armenian genocide situation. We didn't bring that whole lot up because we're trying to
We prefer
not
to keep the
get-
politics out.
Yeah, basically. Politics, especially right now, bums people out.
Yeah.
So,
No one wants. People want to get away from that kind of stuff.
particularly me.
Right.
Me. It bums me out.
We still got to address things, but
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's off limits for us. We will talk about it. Obviously, we mention it here and there, but for the most part, we want everybody to be able to enjoy this and not have it thrown off because, we end up saying something somebody doesn't like,
right.
which will happen. Trust me.
yeah.
I'm sure I've said a lot of stuff people don't like, but you can't agree with everybody's opinion, and everybody's their own person. So you just kind of shake it off and keep going if you like what they're doing.
Agree.
But that was episode 11, System of a Down. I don't remember. We did cut out the dice rolling thing last episode, right? Okay, I didn't know if I needed to announce that now, but so we're going back into our rotation of movie, music, conspiracy theory, paranormal. And next week we are going to be covering the moon landings. I know this is a fun favorite of the conspiracy side of things, but we're going to get into it, and we're going to hit it from every side that we can think of. But I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. Come back next Tuesday for another episode. Give us a review on Apple. We are also on Spotify, and hopefully by the time you hear this, I'll have us up on Stitcher as well. If you don't listen to either one of those platforms, go to our website. You can hear our podcast straight from the website, thunderrooster.com. We have a YouTube channel. We have to have so many subscribers and watch time before they actually give us a URL for that. So just go to our website, thunderrooster.com, click on our episodes. At the bottom of the description of the episode, you'll see a little link that says click here on it. click here, and it'll take you to our video. So that'll get you to our YouTube channel, or just simply type in Thunder Rooster Podcast. We're the first one to pop up. So, got anything?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Do have merch. Check out our merch store.
Yes.
It's on Teespring, but you can go to our website, go into our support, and you should be able to find our link to our Teespring store. Currently, we have a hoodie that's on a limited run. Once that's gone, we'll put up another hoodie that's
on the way.
Just going to be
on the way.
Yes.
Can't wait.
You might have seen this beforehand because we'll probably have them when we put out our Halloween special that's coming up.
Yes.
Surprise, we're doing a Halloween special, but you've already know that because you've seen it. We're so far ahead with this, so it gets us mixed up. I have a little calendar book thing. I'm marking everything down, but I'm like, oh, they're going to see this before our Halloween thing comes. No, it's not going to happen. They'll probably see this sometime during November. Probably middle of November is about when this comes out. It's October 10th right now. Good times. Good times.
Good times indeed.
Well, yeah. We love everybody who's still sticking around listening to us ramble on about nothing at the end here. You know, we're going to build up to developing some kind of little community for ourselves. I'm not sure if we want to do it on like Facebook, because honestly, I haven't been on Facebook in 5 years. I know.
haven't checked my accounts.
I honestly think Facebook is it's getting outdated for me. I know. I also kind of hate the fact that it's, you know, such a necessity for businesses and stuff. And then, I don't know. I was around during MySpace, and those were much simpler times.
That's the truth.
But definitely give us a review. Give us a comment on this video. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our email, info@thunderrooster.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions.
Ask away, please.
Ghost stories. I want to hear them. Send us what you got. If you've had any experience with paranormal activity, or, you know, maybe you've seen Bigfoot, let us know.
Please.
Let us know.
We'd love to hear about
and with
it.
your permission, you know, maybe we'll have a special episode. We'll read some viewers' stories.
I'm down for that.
You know, I know there's podcasts that do that. And
Sure.
I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to steal a little piece of that, and we're going to do it here. But hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.
Later.